the last two missed book clubs were because Brandon couldn't make it. It wasn't my fault. And I mean, it's not his fault. He's just home visiting
Nick.
family for the holidays. But
Your replacement Brandon today.
Oh no.
hey, it's Nick. So, yeah, and then he said he couldn't do today, but like, if we don't, I'm gonna forget the entire book if we don't.
If we go a month without it.
Yeah.
Plus, we'll lose all of our audience engagement.
Oh yeah, yeah. The fans will completely move on.
What audience?
So, also, if you'll recall, I promised that I would finish the chapter by the start of the next episode of Book Club. And
Did you?
I am a man of my word. So Book Club is suspended indefinitely. Welcome to the first episode of IAA Literature Group.
Wait, what? Oh.
Anyway, I did do some reading. I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember a whole lot of it because nothing makes sense is the problem here.
We're still in the play chapter, right?
Oh, we sure are. Yeah.
Like we didn't actually finish that yet.
It
It just keeps going.
it keeps go. You don't understand. This chapter's like 200 pages. There's only like 5 chapters left in the book, and we're like only 2/3 of the way through. Yeah.
Oh, also speaking of books, you know what I just got in the mail today?
What did you just get in the mail today?
My copy of The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. You should read that.
Hang on. I'm gonna do a quick Google. The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. Speaking of books that you own, your Lovecraft anthology has fallen off of the bookshelf twice. Now,
Is that heavy?
it could be because it's at the very edge of the bookshelf and doesn't really quite fit on the shelf. Or it could be a sign of sinister supernatural forces. How do we... I'm trying to change the color of this text. Color correction? Select color.
We should also do a Lovecraft short story as a palate cleanser after Ulysses.
Well, our palette cleanser is going to be Industrial Society in its future.
How long is that?
Well, so the I don't know how long the manuscript itself is. I have select works of Theodore Kaczynski, which includes, among other things, the actual manifesto and then some like letters that he sent and stuff like that. I don't think it has his thesis in it though. Anyway, so this chapter, quick summary, right, in case anyone else forgot. Bloom, it's a musical. Like, just is a musical now.
They start singing?
Well, it's been a musical from the beginning. I mean, not everything's a singing, but yeah, I mean, there's been some singing. There will be some more singing. Bloom walking through town past the red light district, gets whisked away into this weird dreamland world where first he is sentenced to death for being horny.
Yes.
And
as
then
I
he
recall.
escapes through a manhole to Jerusalem, where him and his grandpa visit a whorehouse, and his grandpa explains how to pick out a good whore, I think. Does anyone remember what happened last episode?
No, it's been too long.
It's very different.
honestly.
I don't even think I knew what was going on during the episode. I certainly don't now. Needless to say, it's about to get a lot weirder.
Oh boy.
Like, I know it's been weird, but it gets weirder. Trust me. So, let's just jump into this here. So Bloom is talking to Virag, which is his grandfather. Yeah. Maybe his great-grandfather. I forget, but one of those two. And so it's Bloom and Virag are in a room with, like, I think some whores? Some other people, at least some of which are
Oh,
whores.
right, I do think I remember this.
Yeah. So let me just start going through this. I don't think we're gonna do the live reading for this one. I'll just read some select passages. At least for the first, like, 30 pages or so, because that's what I've read. So Virag is just gonna talk about some stuff. And I don't really know what, but maybe we can figure it out together.
Power of friendship on our side.
Rosemary also did I understand you to say, or willpower over parasitic tissues. Then nay, no, I have an inkling. Then nay, no, I have an inkling. Oh, I should also mention I haven't read the annotations for this. Because I feel like if I understood what they were talking about, it would take some of the magic away.
It ruins the experience,
Yeah.
actually knowing what's going on.
That's normally Brandon's area of expertise. Then nay, no, I have an inkling. The touch of a dead hand cures. Mnemo? I say so, and so. Technic. This book tells you how to act with all descriptive particulars. Consult index for agitated fear of aconite, melancholy of muriatic, priapic pulsatilla. Virag is going to talk about amputation. Our old friend Caustic. They must be starved. Snip off with horsehair under the denned neck. But to change the venue to the Bulgar and the Basque. Have you made up your mind whether you like or dislike women in male habiliments? Habiliments means clothes. I had to look that one up.
Do you like tomboys?
You intend to devote an entire year to the study of the religious problem and the summer months of 1886 to square the circle and win that million. Pomegranate!
Is that a safe word?
Like, very clearly, this is a reference to something. The religious problem in the summer months of 1886.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it is. Maybe we ought to pull up the annotations for this one. Let's see. A dream of the day. We get annotations that actually match the page numbers of this PDF. Oh, I can't search it. All right, you know what? It's not that important. We'll just move on. Where were we? Pomegranate. From the sublime to the ridiculous is but a step. Pajamas, let us say, are stockingette, gusseted knickers, closed. Or put we the case, those complicated combinations, cami knickers, kikiriki.
What does that mean?
Kikiriki is Kiara's signature greeting.
Indeed.
So that's a sick Hololive reference.
Or Hololive is actually a Ulysses reference.
Yeah. It's also completely unrelated to either of these. It's German for cock-a-doodle-doo.
That actually makes sense why she would say that then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though she's explained that the lore behind why she says it, even though she's a phoenix, is because her the Kiara fan club, is all chickens. So she's speaking our language to wake us up. Because if she spoke phoenix, we wouldn't understand it. That's the lore. Bloom. I wanted then to have now concluded. Night dress was never, hence this. But tomorrow is a new day will be. Past was is today. What now is will, then morrow as now was be past yester.
My brain hurts. What the fuck does that mean?
I wanted then to have now concluded. Night dress was never, hence this. But tomorrow is a new day will be. Past was is today. What now is will then morrow as now be past yester. At this point, Virag begins to monologue about bug sex. Like I said, it gets weirder. Insects of the day spend their brief existence in reiterated coition, lured by the smell of the inferiorly pulchritudinous female possessing extendified pudendal nerve in dorsal region. Pretty pole. They had a proverb in the Carpathians in or about the year 5550 of our era. Wait. One tablespoon of honey will attract friend Bruin more than half a dozen barrels of first-choice malt vinegar. Bears buzz bothers bees, but of this apart. At another time we may resume. We were very pleased, we others. You shall find that these night insects follow the light, an illusion for remembering their complex, unadjustable eye. For all these knotty points, see the 7th book of my Fundamentals of Sexology, or The Love Passion, which Dr. Elby says is the book sensation of the year. Some, to example, there are again whose movements are automatic. Perceive, that is his appropriate son. Nightbird, night sun, night town, chase me, Charlie. Buzz. Splendid. Spanish fly in his fly, or mustard plaster on his dibble. What's a dibble?
Plaster his dibble.
I'll muster your dibble. What is a dibble?
What's a dibble?
Isn't that a thing that you use to stick seeds into the ground?
Isn't that a hoe? No, that's not.
No. Like
a hoe is what you till the soil.
Yeah, the dibble is. It's literally just a metal pokey thing to poke in a hole to place a single seed.
Wait, so is dibble maybe like a euphemism for dick?
Wait a second.
To implant the seed?
Mustard?
Yeah, it probably is because
yeah, probably.
dibble is indeed a pointed hand tool for making holes in the ground for seeds or young plants.
I would honestly be surprised if dibble wasn't a euphemism for penis.
Yeah.
Bubbly Jock. Bubbly Jock. Where are we? Hope and sesame. Cometh forth. Stay, good friend, I bring thee thy answer. Red Bank oysters will shortly be upon us. I am the best, O cook. Those succulent bivalves may help us, and the truffles of Perigord, tubers dislodged through minister omnivorous porker, were unsurpassed in cases of nervous debility or viragitis. Wait, is that a real thing, or is that just a pun based on its name? Viragitis. No. I googled it, and it
the only result is Ulysses.
brings up Ulysses. Alright, good to know. Though they stink, yet they sting. Jocular. With my eyeglass in my ocular. Amen. Ocularly, women's bivalve case is worse. Always open sesame. The cloven sex. Why they fear vermin, creeping things. Yet Eve and the serpent contradicts. Not a historical fact. So, I read all this dialogue between Virag and Bloom, and it literally just like went right through my head. And I wasn't sure if it was because I was like half drunk and tired at the time. But no, this just doesn't make any sense.
Sober, it doesn't make
It
sense
makes
either.
no sense at all. Ocularly, women's bivalve case is worse. Always open sesame. The cloven sex, why they fear vermin creeping things. Yet Eve and the serpent contradicts. Not a historical fact. Obvious analogy to my idea. Serpents, too, are gluttons for women's milk. Wind their way through miles of omnivorous forest to suck succulent her breasts dry. Like those bubbly, jocular Roman matrons one reads in Elephantulius. Elephantuliasis. Okay, I googled that and it just said, did you mean elephantiasis? Which is, again, this is a Joyceism. So, I don't know where this whole serpents are gluttons for women's milk thing came from, but I don't think they are. I don't.
Yeah, X'd it out on that
I
one.
think that's wrong. That the cows with those distended udders that they have been the known. What? That the cows with those distended udders that they have been the known.
Was there some mythological creature that was supposedly like would suckle cow's milk?
I can believe that. I couldn't tell you what it is. I am going to scream. I beg your pardon. So.
That's not you. That's
No,
the line.
no, that's the line. I am going to scream. I beg your pardon. Pardon. So, spontaneously to seek out the saurian's lair in order to entrust their teats to his avid suction. And no. Is this Traveler canon? Ant milks Aphis. Profoundly. Instinct rules the world in life, in death. Yeah, so they talk about bug sex, and then they talk about snakes breastfeeding. And then they talk about this moth. There's so every time they fucking do this, it kills me. So they'll reference a thing. They'll be like, "Hey, there's a moth," and then suddenly that thing like just has a soliloquy. They've done this throughout the chapter, but I didn't really pick up on it as a recurring trend until now. But
Alex, I found what I was thinking of.
what were we thinking of?
The Tilbury, or Snacker, is a creature of Icelandic folklore created by witches to steal milk.
How do you spell that?
Tilberi.
Tilbury.
I don't know where I learned this from. This is such a short Wikipedia.
What the fuck is that thing? What the What is that?
A Tilbury, apparently.
It's cute as hell. I love it. Beautiful. It looks like someone put a pig snout on the end of some dryer lint. Yeah, so they every time they do this, I fucking kills me. Who's Moth? Who's dear Gerald, dear Ger? That you? Oh dear, he is Gerald. Oh, I much fear he shall be most badly burned. Will some pleash Persian not now impediment so catastrophic mit agitation of first-class table numpkin? Puss. Well, he doth rest anon. The Moth. I'm a tiny thing, ever flying in the spring. Round and round a ring. Long ago I was a king, now I do this kind of thing. On the wing, bing. He rushes against the mauve shade, flapping noisily. Pretty petticoats.
Bing, bing, bong, bong.
It's so good.
You all right there?
No. Imagine going to see this like actually performed on a stage, and some dude in a fucking moth outfit just runs on stage and like just says that poem while just slapping against a fucking oversized lamp. And then in comes, so there's gonna be like characters coming in and out, and so it'll describe a character coming in, and then they won't have any lines. And then it'll give a character lines who was never at any point described coming in, which makes it very difficult to keep track of the cast. So I gave up on it. So do I have any notes about Henry Flowers? No. Yeah, so Henry Flowers comes in wearing a sombrero. And a pipe with a bowl shaped as a female's head. And the face of Jesus, I think. There is a flower that bloometh. And then Steven is just here now. I don't know when he got here, but he's here now.
He's just here.
He just is. Play with your eyes shut, imitate Pa, filling my belly with husks of swine. Too much of this, I will arise and go to my. Expect this is the. Steve, thou art in a parlous way, must visit old Deasy or telegraph. Our interview of this morning has left on me a deep impression through our ages. We will write fully tomorrow. I'm partially drunk, by the way. Minor chords come now, yes, not much, however. So, as I'm sure you'll recall, Stephen Daedalus has like a very distinct pattern of speech that isn't this. Because this is presumably not actually him and is just a weird dream sequence going on in Bloom's head. But this, like, the broken sentence fragments is like the exact thing that that Bloom thinks.
Yes.
Very interesting. And then in the window appear two Siamese twins, Philip drunk and Philip sober. Two Oxford Dons with lawnmowers.
Lawnmowers?
So
is this a different use of the word lawnmower?
I assumed as much.
Yet unfamiliar with.
I figured that lawnmower might be like a cocktail or something. I looked it up, and yeah, there is a cocktail called the lawnmower, but if you Google literally any word and cocktail, you'll find a recipe for something. So, what Joyce means by this is beyond me.
Was it mentioned in the, what's it called?
Annotations?
Annotations, yeah.
I can't find this chapter, or this part of this chapter in the annotations, because, the annotations are numbered, by word count, or by line count, and I we're like 50, 60, 80 pages into this chapter. I don't know what line
We're
on.
not counting lines.
Yeah. Take a fool's advice. All is not well. Work it out with the butt end of a pencil like a good young idiot. £3.12 you got, 2 notes, 1 sovereign, 2 crowns, if youth but knew. Mooney's Enville, Mooney Sir Mer the Moira, Larchett's Holes Street Hospital, Burks, eh? I am watching you. Philip drunk. Ah, bosh, man, go to hell, I paid my way. If only I could find out about octaves. Octaves?
Octaves.
Octaves? Reduplication of personality. Who was it told me his name? His lawnmower begins to purr.
I don't think it's a drink.
Okay. Wait. Did they have powered lawnmowers in 1917?
I don't.
Let's look it
Maybe?
up. When was the engine-propelled lawnmower invented?
It's like they were starting to make like combustion engines
Right.
around
that's
that
after
time.
The airplane was invented.
1830 was when the lawnmower was invented. When was the
Well,
when
it
was
says
it
here on
given an
Wikipedia that in the United States, gasoline-powered lawnmowers were first manufactured in 1914.
19?
Okay.
Wow. It's a brand spanking new technology.
So this could conceivably be a gasoline-powered lawnmower, and I don't know of many other lawnmowers that purr. Aha, yes. Zumu Sas Agapo. Have a notion I was here before. When was it not Atkinson's his card I have somewhere? Mac somebody.
Was Bloom just forgetting the word for deja vu?
What, the Zomu Sa Agapo?
Yeah, that.
I don't know. Hang on, let's give that a Google. Zumu Sas Agapo. Agapo.
This will only result in Ulysses results.
This is actually a quote from a Lord Byron poem,
Really?
which is Greek and means "My life, I love you." Have a notion I was here before. When was it not Atkinson's his card I have somewhere? Mac somebody. On Mac I have it. He told me about, hold on, Swinburne was it? No? Yeah, so there's a bunch more dialogue that I'm gonna kind of, let's skip over here, because it's literally just like nonsense between characters whose existence is nebulous at best. This is good though. Perfectly logical from his standpoint. Fall of man. To hell with the Pope. Nothing new under the sun. I am the Virag who disclosed the sex secrets of monks and maidens. Why I left the Church of Rome. I would like to point out that Virag is born Jewish and was at no point a member
Roman
of the
Catholic?
Church of Rome. Read the priest, the woman, and the confessional. Penrose, Flipperty Gippert. Woman undoing with sweet pudor her belt of rush rope, offers her all moist yoni to man's lingam. That means
That's gotta be.
vagina.
Sexual
Yeah,
reference.
yeah,
Yes.
because yonic is like phallic, but for the vulva. So yoni must be like Greek or something for vagina. uh, short time after, man presents woman with pieces of jungle meat. Woman shows joy and covers herself with feather skids. Man loves her Yanni fiercely with big lingam, the stiff one. And giddy woman will run about. Strong man grapses woman's wrist. That's grapses, not grasps. No, wait. Yeah. Grapses, grapses. Woman's wrist. Woman squeals, bites, spucks. Man, now fiercely angry, strikes woman's fat yadgana. Biff paff, po-po, chip, pert. What's a yadgana? Yadgana. That's another Joyceism.
Right.
Man, now fiercely angry, strikes woman's fat yadgana.
What this is left as an
Piff
exercise
paff,
to the reader.
po-po. And then they talk about what I think is a priest's visit to the whorehouse. I'm not. I mean, I'm not sure about anything in this chapter, but I'm less sure about this. I hope you gave the good father a penance. 9 glorias for shooting a bishop. Zoe spelt walrus smoke through her nostrils. He couldn't get a connection, only, a sensation. A dry rush. Poor man. Only for what happened him. How? A diabolic rictus of black luminosity contracting his visage cranes his scraggy neck forward. He lifts a moon-calf nozzle and howls. Verflucht goim. He had a father, 40 fathers. He never existed. Pig god. He had 2 left feet. He was a Judas Iachia, a Libyan eunuch, the Pope's bastard. A son of a whore. Apocalypse. And then they say some stuff in French. And to such delights has Mechnikov inoculated anthropoid apes. Locomotor a taxi. Oh, my dictionary. What? Locomotor a taxi. Isn't that one of the symptoms of syphilis? Probably. The difficulty controlling one's own bodily movements.
Imagine, like, the shivers?
I think more like... I don't know. Shit, man, I'm not a doctor. What's Wikipedia say? People afflicted with this disease may walk in a jerky, non-fluid manner. They will not know where their arms and legs are without looking. It is often a symptom of Tabes dorsalis, which is a key finding in tertiary syphilis. Haha, I was right. She sold love filters, white wax, orange flowers. Panther, the Roman centurion, polluted her with his genitories. Messiah, he burst her tympanum. Hick, heck, hack, hawk, huck, cock, cock. Ben Jumbo Dollard, rubicund, muscle-bound, hairy-nostrilled, huge-bearded, cabbage-eared, shaggy-chested, shock-maned, fat-papped, stands forth, his loins and genitals tightened into a pair of black bathing bag slops. I don't know what a bag slop is.
Is that spelled like how it sounds?
Yeah.
Bag, Bagslops?
Yeah, bag slop.
One word.
That's almost certainly another Joyceism here.
Yes, it is.
Black bathing bag slops. Ben Dollard. Knackering castanet bones in his huge, padded paws, yodels jovially in bass barrel tone. Do you mean baritone? Or is barrel tone an actual word? No, okay. They mean baritone.
All the typos are divinely inspired.
When love absorbs my ardent soul. The virgins, Nurse Callan and Nurse Quigley, burst through the ring keepers and the ropes and mob him with open arms. Okay, so I don't know what they mean by ring keepers. Or where these fucking nurses just came from. And then Henry Flowers says, "Thine heart, mine love." He plucks his lute strings. He is also caressing on his breast a severed female head, while plucking the lute strings, I should add. Which is pretty damn impressive, honestly. Virag, sloughing his skins, his multitudinous plumage molting. At no point... Actually, wait a second. Didn't they say Virag had a beak earlier?
Is Virag a bird? Is that why he was cawing?
I'm pretty sure at some point they described him as having a beak. Can I find that? Virag, head askew, arches his back and hunched wing shoulders, peers at the moth out of blear, bulged eyes, points a horning claw, and cries. Huh. Would you look at that? I think they also said something about, like, yeah, they mentioned somewhere a yellow beak. So all the descriptions in parentheses, there's no continuity between them at all. At one point, Virag is described cynically, his weasel teeth bared yellow, draws down his left eye with a finger and barks hoarsely. Birds don't have yellow teeth or fingers. And then suddenly he's got wings, and then he starts shedding his feathers. Yeah, 895, 94. Yeah, what was it? 896. Sloughing his skins, his multitudinous plumage molting. Rats. He yawns, showing a coal-black throat, and closes his jaws by an upward push of his parchment roll. Oh yeah, birds don't really have a... They got beak, which isn't really a jaw. It's a beak. So, I guess he just has feathers. After having said which, I took my departure. Farewell, fare thee well, Drek. Henry Flowers combs his mustache and beard rapidly with a pocket comb, and gives a cow's lick to his hair. Steered by his rapier, he glides to the door, his wild harp slung behind him. Virag reaches the door in two ungainly stilt hops, his tail cocked, and deftly claps sideways on the wall a pussy yellow flybill, butting it with his head? The flybill. K. 2. Post no bills. Strictly confidential. Dr. High Franks. Virag unscrews his head and holds it under his arm. Virag's head. Quack. What? Why? Why does Joyce write like this? Beware Antisthenes, the dog sage, and the last end of Arius Heresiarchus. Heresiarchs. What does that mean? This just brings up the Joyce Project. So, Ink. I have this in my notes with like 10 question marks. I can't figure out what's going on here. So Stephen is here. Stephen Daedalus, presumably. And then Simon Stephen Cardinal Daedalus, which I think Simon Daedalus is Stephen Daedalus' dad, and I think his middle name's Stephen. He's a cardinal now. Also, he's a monkey.
Remember, this is in a dream, right?
Yeah.
So they're not really anywhere.
No. His Eminence, Simon Stephen Cardinal Daedalus, primate of all Ireland, appears in the doorway, dressed in red soutane, sandals and socks. 7 dwarf simian acolytes, also in red cardinal sins. Cardinal sins? Uphold his train, peeping under it. So he is a monkey, being carried by 7 smaller monkeys. He wears a battered silk hat sideways on his head. His thumbs are stuck in his armpits, and his palms outspread. Round his neck hangs a rosary of corks, ending on his breast in a corkscrew cross. Releasing his thumbs, he invokes grace from on high with large wave gestures, and proclaims with bloated pomp, Conservio lies captured. He lies in the lowest dungeon, with manacles and chains around his limbs weighing upwards of 3 tons. He looks at all for a moment, his right eye closed tight, his left cheek puffed out. Then, unable to repress his merriment, he rocks to and fro, arms akimbo, and sings with broad, rollicking humor. Oh, the poor little fellow, his legs, they were yellow. He was plump, fat, and heavy, and brisk as a snake, but some bloody savage, to graze his white cabbage, he murdered Nell Flaherty's duck-loving drake. That might be the worst poem I've ever heard in my life. A multitude of midges swarms white over his robe. He scratches himself with crossed arms at his ribs, grimacing, and exclaims, I'm suffering the agony of the damned. By the hokey fiddle, thanks be to Jesus, those funny little chaps are not unanimous. If they were, they'd walk me off the face of the bloody globe. And then the monkeys carry him away, while singing, Shall carry my heart to thee, shall carry my heart to thee, and the breath of the balmy night shall carry my heart to thee. And then the door handle goes, thee. And then, skip ahead another bit here. So there's something with Bloom and the whores eating chocolate. It's probably symbolic of something. I don't know. And then, okay, this is... I know that I said that it's been weird. And I know that I said it was going to get weirder. And I know it got weirder. But it's... That shit doesn't have anything on the weirdness that's the next, like, 20 pages. So, fasten your fucking seatbelts, kids. So in comes Bella Cohen, the whore mistress. She has a sprouting mustache. Her olive face is heavy, slightly sweated, and full-nosed with orange-tainted nostrils. Now, you would think, having just introduced a new character, that the ensuing conversation would involve the new character, right? You would be a fool to think that. Bloom now has a conversation with the fan being carried by the whore mistress. Like all the other conversation, doesn't make any sense, but it's Bloom talking to a fan. Married, I see. Yes, partly. I have mislaid. And the missus is master. Petticoat government. That is so. Have you forgotten me? Yes. Yo. Is me her was you dreamed before? Was then she him you us since knew? Am all them and the same now we? Powerful being, in my eyes read that slumber which women love. We have met. You are mine. It is fate. Exuberant female, enormously I desiderate your domination. I had to Google desiderate. Desiderate. Desiderate just means to desire. It's like the verb form of desire, which is interesting because there's already a verb form of desire, which is just desire.
Right.
Enormously I desiderate your domination. I am exhausted, abandoned, no more young. I stand, so to speak, with an unposted letter bearing the extra regulation fee before the too late box of the General Post Office of human life. What a fucking metaphor. I stand with an unposted letter bearing the extra regulation fee before the too late box of the General Post Office of human life. The door and window open at a right angle, cause a drought of 32 feet per second according to the law of falling bodies. I have felt this instant a twinge of sciatica in my left gluteal muscle. It runs in our family. Poor dear papa, a widower, was a regular barometer from it. He believed in animal skin. Animal heat. A skin of tabby lined his winter waistcoat. Near the end, remembering King David and the Sunamite, he shared his bed with Athos, faithful after death. A dog spittle, as you probably winces. Ah. Richie Goulding says, mocking is catch. Best value in dub. Fit for a prince's. Liver and kidney. The fan. All things end. Be mine. Now. Bloom. All now. I should not have parted with my talisman. If you recall, his talisman is a shriveled up black potato that the whore took from him. Those damn whores stealing our potatoes. Rain exposure.
We haven't looked at our potato plants in over 3 minutes.
Rain exposure at dewfall on the sea rocks. A peccadillo at my time of life. Every phenomenon has a natural cause. The fan. You may. Bloom. So at this point, Bloom's pronouns begin to switch back and forth between male and female.
It becomes gender fluid. In this
Actually, not yet. Bloom does become gender fluid. That happens later. This her is the whore mistress's. Bloom looks downwards and perceives her unfastened bootlace. We are observed. The fan points downwards quickly. You must. Bloom. With desire. With reluctance. I can make a true black knot. Learned when I served my time and worked the mail order line for Kellett's experienced hand. Every knot says a lot. Let me in. In courtesy, I knelt once before today. Bella raises her gown slightly, and, steadying her pose, lifts to the edge of a chair a plump, buskined hoof, and a full pastern, silk-socked. Bloom, stiff-legged, aging, bends over her hoof, and with gentle fingers draws out and in her laces. So we get an erotic shoe-tying scene here. Bloom. To be a shoe fitter in Manfields was my love's young dream, the darling joys of sweet button hooking, to lace up crisscrossed to knee length the dressy kid footwear satin lined, so incredibly, impossibly small, of Clyde Road ladies. Even their wax model, Raymond, I visited daily to admire her cobweb hose and stick of rhubarb toe. The hoof. Smell my hot goat hide. Feel my royal weight. Bloom. Too tight? The hoof. If you bungle, Handy Andy, I'll kick your football for you. Bloom. Not to lace the wrong eyelet, as I did the night of the bazaar dance. Bad luck. Hooked in wrong tash of her, person you mentioned, that night she met. Now. He knots the lace. Bella places her foot on the floor. Bloom raises his head. Her heavy face, her eyes strike him in mid-brow. His eyes glow dull, darker and pouched. His nose thickens. Bloom. Awaiting your further orders we remain, gentlemen. Bello. With a hard basilisk stare in her baritone voice. Hound of dishonor. Bloom. Empress. Bello. His heavy cheek chops sagging. So Bello is the whore mistress, but is now referred to with his heavy cheek chops sagging. Adorer of the adulterous rump. Bloom. Hugeness. Bello. Dung devourer. Bloom. Magnificence. Bello. Down. He taps her on the shoulder with his fan. So now Bloom is the her and Bello is the he. Incline feet forward. Slide left foot 1 pace back. You will fall. You are falling. On the hands down. Bloom. Her eyes upturned in the sign of admiration. Closing. Yaps. Truffles. With a piercing epileptic cry, she sinks on all fours, grunting, snuffling, rooting at his feet. Then lies, shamming dead, with eyes shut tight, trembling eyelids, bowed upon the ground in the attitude of most excellent master. Bello. With bobbed hair, purple gills, fit mustache rings round his shaven mouth, in mountaineer's puttees, green silver-buttoned coat, sport skirt, and alpine hat with moorcock's feather, his hand stuck deep in his breeches pockets, places his heel on her neck and grinds it in. Footstool, feel my entire weight. Bow, bond slave, before the throne of your despot's glorious heels, so glistening in their proud erectness. Bloom. I promise never to disobey. Bello. Holy smoke! You little know what's in store for you. I'm the Tartar to settle your little lot and break you in. I'll bet Kentucky coattails all around I shame it out of you, old son. Cheek me, I dare you. If you do, tremble in anticipation of heel discipline to be inflicted in gym costume. Bloom creeps under the sofa and peers out through the fringe. Zoe. She's not here. Bloom. She's not here. Florrie. Hiding her with her gown. She didn't mean it, Mr. Bello. She'll be good, sir. Kitty. Don't be too hard on her, Mr. Bello. Sure you won't, ma'am, sir. So the whore mistress is now the man, right? Maybe. Kitty refers to her as ma'am, sir, which is just like, whatever. Bello. Come, ducky dear, I want a word with you, darling, just to administer correction. Just a little heart-to-heart talk, sweetie. Bloom puts out her timid head. There's a good girlie now. Bello grabs her hair violently and drags her forward. I only want to correct you for your own good on a soft, safe spot. How's that tender behind? Oh, ever so gently, pet. Begin to get ready. Bloom. Don't tear my... Bello. The nose ring, the pliers, the bastinado, the hanging hook, the knout I'll make you kiss while the flutes play like the Nubian slave of old. You're in for it this time. I'll make you remember me for the balance of your natural life. I shall sit on your ottoman saddleback every morning after my thumping good breakfast of Matterson's fat ham rashers and a bottle of Guinness porter. He belches. and suck my thumping goods stock exchange cigar while I read the licensed victualler's gazette. Very possibly I shall have you slaughtered and skewered in my stables, and enjoy a slice of you with crisp crackling from the baking tin, basted and baked like suckling pig, with rice and lemon or currant sauce. It will hurt you.
Yeah, I would think so.
Don't be cruel, nurse. Don't. Another. Oh, it's hell itself. Every nerve in my body aches like mad. Good. By the rumping, jumping general, that's the best bit of news I heard these 6 weeks. Here, don't keep me waiting, damn you. He slaps her face. Plume. You're after hitting me. I'll tell. Bellow. Hold him down, girls, till I squat on him. Yes, walk on him. I will. I will. Don't be greedy. No, me. Lend to me. So the whores are all bullying Bloom. And then in comes the brothel cook, Mrs. Keogh, wrinkled, gray-bearded, in a greasy bib, men's gray and green sock and brogues, flowers smeared, a rolling pin stuck with raw pastry in her bare red arm and hand, appears at the door. Mrs. Keogh, can I help? They hold and pinion Bloom. Bellow squats with a grunt on Bloom's upturned face, puffing cigar smoke, nursing a fat leg. I see Keating Clay is elected vice chairman of the Richmond Asylum, and by the by, Guinness's preference shares are at 16.3 quaffers. Curse me if you're a fool that didn't buy that lot Craig and Gardner told me about. Just my infernal luck, curse it. And that goddamned outsider throwaway at 20-1. He quenches his cigar angrily on Bloom's ear. Where is that goddamned cursed ashtray? Bloom. Oh, monsters. Cruel one. Goaded. Buttocks smothered. Bellow. Ask for that every 10 minutes. Beg. Pray for it as you've never prayed before. He thrusts out a jagged fist and foul cigar. Here, kiss that. Both. Kiss. He throws a leg astride, and pressing with horseman's knees, calls in a hard voice, Gee up! A cock horse to Banbury Cross. I'll ride him for the Eclipse Stakes. He bends sideways and squeezes his mount's testicles roughly, shouting, Ho! Off we pop! I'll nurse you in proper fashion. To be clear,
What?
the mount in question is
Bloom.
feminized Leopold Bloom, who has been given back his testicles so that they may be squeezed. Like I said, it's getting weird. It's gonna
The
get
cock and
weirder.
ball torture
It's-
episode.
It's going to get weirder. Like, we hit the cock and ball torture. And it's gonna keep going. Off we pop. I'll nurse you in proper fashion. He horse rides cock horse, leaping in the saddle. The lady goes a pace, and the coachman goes a trot, and the gentleman goes a gallop, a gallop. Flory. Let me on him now. You had enough. I asked before you. Zoe. Me. Are you not finished with him yet, suckeress? Bloom. Can't. Bellow. Well, I'm not. Wait. Curse it. Here, this bung's about burst. He uncorks himself behind, then contorting his features, farts loudly. Take that. Yes, by jingo, 16.75. Bloom. A sweat breaking out over him. Not man, he sniffs. Woman. Bellow. Stands up. No more blow hot and cold. What you longed for has come to pass. Henceforth you are unmanned, and mine in earnest, a thing under the yoke. Now for your punishment, Frock. You will shed your male garments, you understand, Ruby Cohen, and don the shot silk luxuriously rustling over head and shoulders, and quickly, too. Bloom. Silk, mistress said. Oh, crinkly, scrapey. Must I tip-touch it with my nails? Bellow points to his whores. As they are now, so will you be. Wigged, singed, singed? Perfume sprayed, rice powdered with smooth shaven armpits. Tape measurements will be taken next to your skin. You will be laced with cruel force into vice-like corsets of soft dove coutil, with whalebone busk to the diamond-trimmed pelvis, the absolute outside edge, while your figure, plumper than when at large, will be restrained in net-tight frocks, pretty 2-ounce petticoats, and fringes and things stamped, of course, with my house flag. Creations of lovely lingerie for Alice and nice scent for Alice. Alice will feel the pull. Martha and Mary will be a little chilly at first in such delicate thigh casings, but the frilly flimsiness of lace round your bare knees will remind you. Bloom. I tried her things on only twice, a small prank in Halls Street. When we were hard up, I washed them to save the laundry bill. My own shirts I turned. It was the purest thrift. Bellow. Little jobs that make mother pleased, eh? And shown off coquettishly in your domino at the mirror behind close-drawn blinds, your unskirted thighs. And he-goat's udders. Huh? He-goat's udders in various poses of surrender, eh? Ho-ho! I have to laugh. That second-hand black opera top shift and short trunk leg naughties all split up the stitches at her last rape that Mrs. Miriam d'Andrade sold you from the Shelbourne Hotel, eh? Bloom. Miriam. Black. Demi-mondaine. Bellow. Christ almighty, it's too tickling, this. You were a nice-looking Miriam when you clipped off your backgate hairs and lay swooning in the thing across the bed as Mrs. Dendrate, about to be violated by Lieutenant Smith, Mr. Philip Augustus Blockwell, MP, Signor Lassie Darimo, the robust tenor, Blue-Eyed Bert, the lift boy, Henry Fleury of Gordon Bennett fame, Sheridan, the quadroon Croesus, the varsity wet bob, 8 from Old Trinity, Ponto, her splendid Newfoundland, and Bobs, Dowager Duchess of Manor Hamilton. Christ, wouldn't it make a Siamese cat laugh? Bloom. It was Gerald converted me to be a true corset lover when I was female impersonator in the high school play Vice Versa. It was dear Gerald. He got that kink, fascinated by sisters' stays. Now dearest Gerald uses pinky grease paint and gilds his eyelids. Cult of the beautiful. Bellow. Beautiful! Give us a breather when you took your seat with womanish care, lifting your billowy flounces on the smooth-worn throne. Bloom. Science, to compare the various joys we each enjoy. And really, it's better the position, because often I used to wet. No insubordination. The sawdust is there in the corner for you. I gave you strict instructions, didn't I? Do it standing, sir. I'll teach you to behave like a gentleman. If I catch a trace on your swaddles, aha! By the ass of the Dorans, you'll find them a martinet. The sins of your past are rising against you. Many. Hundreds. The sins of the past. He went through a form that, like, literally, the physical manifestation of the sins of the past have appeared. He went through a form of clandestine marriage with at least one woman in the shadow of the Black Church. Unspeakable messages he telephoned mentally to Miss Dunn at an address in d'Olier Street, while he presented himself indecently to the instrument in the call box. By word and deed, he frankly encouraged a nocturnal strumpet to deposit fecal and other matter in an unsanitary outhouse attached to empty premises. In 5 public conveniences, he wrote penciled messages offering his nuptial partner to all strong-membered males. And by offensively smelling vitriol works did he not pass night after night by loving courting couples to see if and what and how much he could see. Did he not lie in bed? Note now that they've switched back to referring to Bloom as he. Did he not lie in bed, the gross bore, gloating over a nauseous fragment of well-used toilet paper presented to him by a nasty harlot, stimulated by gingerbread and a postal order? Bellow whistles loudly. Say, what was the most revolting piece of obscenity in all your career of crime? Go the whole hog. Puke it out. Be candid for once. Mute, inhuman faces throng forward, leering, vanishing, gibbering, booloohoom, poldycock, bootlaces, a Penny Cassidy's hag, blind stripling, Larry Rhinoceros, the girl, the woman, the whore, the other, the... Don't ask me. Our mutual faith. Pleasant Street. I only thought the half of the... I swear on my sacred oath... Answer, repugnant wretch. I insist on knowing. Tell me something to amuse me. Smut, or a bloody good ghost story, or a line of poetry. Quick, quick, quick. Where, how, what time, with how many? I'll give you just 3 seconds. 1, 2, Bloom. I repugnosed in repugnant. I don't know what that means. Bellow. Oh, get out, you skunk. Hold your tongue. Speak when you're spoken to. Bloom. Master, mistress, man tamer. He lifts his arm. His bangle bracelets fill. Bellow. Satirically. By day you will souse and bat our smelling underclothes, also when we ladies are unwell, and swab out our latrines with dress pinned up and a dishclout tied to your tail. Won't that be nice? He places a ruby ring on her finger. And there now, with this ring I thee own. Say thank you, mistress. Bloom. Thank you, mistress. Bellow. You will make the beds, get my tub ready, empty the piss pots in the different rooms, including old Mrs. Keogh's, the cook's, a sandy one. And rinse the 7 of them well, mind, or lap it up like champagne. Drink me piping hot. Hop. You will dance attendance, or I'll lecture you on your misdeeds. Miss Ruby, and spank your bare bot right well, miss with the hairbrush. You'll be taught the error of your ways. At night, your well-creamed, braceleted hands will wear 43-button gloves. 43-button gloves? That's a lot of fucking buttons. New powdered with talk, and having delicately scented fingertips. For such favors knights of old laid down their lives. My boys will be no end charmed to see you so ladylike, the colonel above all, when they come here the night before the wedding to fondle my new attraction in gilded heels. First, I'll have a go at you myself. A man I know on the turf named Charles Alberta Marsh. I was in bed with him just now. And another gentleman out of the Hanaper and Petty Bag office is on the lookout for a maid of all work at a short knock. Swell the bust. Smile. Droop shoulders. What offers? He points. For that lot. Trained by owner to fetch and carry, basket in mouth. He bares his arm and plunges it elbow deep in Bloom's vulva. There's nice. There's fine depth for you. What, boys, that give you a hard-on? He shoves his arm into Bitter's face. Here, wipe the deck and wipe it round. So, this is as far as I got when I was reading before. Because I got to the part where the whore mistress just goes elbow deep in Bloom's vulva. And I was just put the fucking book down and walk away.
Wow.
Like, what the fuck is going on anymore?
What is going on?
As promised, it got weirder.
Oh, jeez.
Bloom is now the proud owner of a vulva. And the arm of the whore mistress, which is now elbow deep in said vulva. Which is, like, just such an incredible plot twist. Never, when I first started reading Ulysses, never would I have expected that there would be a scene where Femme Bloom gets fisted. And here we are. That's character development.
800 something pages
Yeah,
later?
yeah. 915 pages in. Bloom gets fisted.
What a long journey it's been.
A florin. Barang. A voice. 1 and 8 pence too much. Charles Alberta Marsh. Must be virgin. Good breath. Clean. Bellow. 2 bar. Rock bottom figure and cheap at the price. 14 hands high. Touch and examine his points. Handle him. This downy skin. These soft muscles. This tender flesh. If I had only my gold piercer here. And quite easy to milk. 3 new-laid gallons a day. What? His sire's milk record was 1,000 gallons of whole milk in 40 weeks. Whoa, my jewel. Beg up. Whoa. He brands his initial C on Bloom's croup. So, warranted Cohen. What advance on 2 bob, gentlemen? A dark-visaged man. 100 punt Sterling. Voices. For the Caliph.
What?
Harun al-Rashid. Bellow. Right. Let them all come. The scanty, daringly short skirt. Riding up at the knee to show a peep of white pantalette is a potent weapon, and transparent stockings, emerald gartered, with the long, straight seam trailing up beyond the knee, appeal to the better instincts of the blasé man about town. Learn the smooth, mincing walk on 4-inch Louis Quincy heels, the Grecian bend with provoking croup, the thighs fluescent, knees modestly kissing. What is fluescent? Do they mean fluorescent? Fluorescent. No! It just brought up fluorescent! That's not a real word!
I presume it's similar. It just means glowing like fluorescent.
But it's referring to thighs, Nick. It's talking about his thighs.
Yeah, glowing. Yeah, they're glowing with smoothness and sex appeal.
Sex appeal.
I don't know, man.
Nick, this is Bloom currently being described as a cow.
Okay, and
And I don't know.
look, you're assigning a lot of meaning to things that don't have much. That would not be that absurd for this book now, would it?
No, it wouldn't. A sexy cow Bloom and his glowing thighs. Knees modestly kissing. Bring all your powers of fascination to bear on them. Pander to their Gomorrahan vices. Bloom bends his blushing face into his armpit and simpers with forefinger in mouth. Oh, I know what you're hinting at now. Do you? What are they hinting at? You just... Bloom, buddy, you just got fucking fisted. There's... The time for subtext and hinting has passed. Someone is currently elbow deep in your vulva, which you now have. And you're like,
I see what you're getting.
I see what you're getting at.
You sly dog.
What else are you good for, an impotent thing like you? Up, Manx cat. What have we here? Where's your curly teapot gone to, or who docked it on you, cocky ollie? Sing, birdie, sing. It's as limp as a box of sixes doing his poorly behind a cart. Buy a bucket or sell your pump. Can you do a man's job? Bloom. Eccles Street. Bellow. I wouldn't hurt your feelings for the world, but there's a man of brawn in possession there. His tables are turned, my gay young fellow. He is something like a full-grown outdoor man. Well for you, you muff, if you had that weapon with knobs and lumps and warts all over it. He shot his bolt, I can tell you. Foot to foot, knee to knee, belly to belly, bubs to breast. He's no eunuch. A shock of red hair he has sticking out of him behind like a furze bush. Wait for 9 months, my lad. Holy ginger, it's kicking and coughing up and down in her guts already. That makes you wild, don't it? Touches the spot. He spits in contempt. Spittoon! So I think here they're talking about Blazes Boylan, who I believe had red hair, and is currently fucking Bloom's wife, if you recall. Bloom. I was indecently treated. I inform the police. £100, unmentionable. I bellow. Would if you could, lame duck. A downpour we want, not your drizzle. Bloom. To drive me mad. Maul. I forgot. Forgive. Maul. We. Still. Bellow. No, Leopold Bloom, all is changed by woman's will since you slept horizontal in Sleepy Hollow your night of 20 years. Return and see. Old Sleepy Hollow calls over the world. Rip Van Wink! Rip Van Winkle! Bloom. In tattered moccasins with a rusty fowling piece. Tiptoeing, finger-tipping, his haggard, bony, bearded face peering through the diamond panes, cries out, I see her! It's she! The first night at Matt Dillon's! But that dress! The green! And her hair is dyed gold, and he... Bellow. That's your daughter, you owl, with a Mullingar student. Millie Bloom, fair-haired, green-vested, slim-sandaled, her blue scarf in the sea wind simply swirling, breaks from the arms of her lover, and calls, her young eyes wonder-wide. Millie. My, it's Popley! But, oh Popley, how old you've grown! Bellow. Changed, eh? Our what-not? Our writing table, where we never wrote. Aunt Higardy's armchair, our classic reprints of old masters. A man and his men friends are living there in clover. The Cuckoo's Rest. Why not? How many women had you, following them up dark streets, flat-foot, exciting them by your smothered grunts? What, you male prostitute? Blameless dames with parcels of groceries. Turn about. Sauce for the goose, my gander, oh. Bloom. They. I. Bellow. Cuttingly. Their heel marks will stamp the Bruxellette carpet you bought at Wren's auction. In their horseplay with Moll the ramp to find the buck flea in her breeches, they will deface the little statue you carried home. In the rain, for art's sake, they will violate the secrets of your bottom drawer. Pages will be torn from your handbook of astronomy to make them pipe spills. And they will spit in your 10-shilling brass fender from Hampton Leadham's. Bloom. 10 and 6. The act of low scoundrels. Let me go. I will return. I will prove. A voice. Swear. Bloom clenches his fist and crawls forward, a bowie knife between his teeth. Bellow. As a paying guest or a kept man. Too late. You have made your second best bed, and others must lie in it. What? Is that how the saying goes? You have made your second best bed, and others must lie in it. Your epitaph is written. You are down and out, and don't you forget it, old bean. Bloom. Justice, all Ireland versus one. Has nobody... He bites his thumb. Bellow. Die and be damned to you if you have any sense of decency or grace about you. I can give you a rare old wine that'll send you skipping to hell and back. Sign a will and leave us any coin you have. If you have none, see you damn well get it, steal it, rob it. We'll bury you in our shrubbery, Jakes, where you'll be dead and dirty with old Cuck Cohen, my step-nephew I married. The bloody old gouty procurator and sodomite with a crick in his neck. And my other 10 or 11 husbands, whatever the bugger's name were, suffocated in the one cesspool. He explodes in a loud phlegmy laugh. So, interesting that as they continue to describe the Whore Mistress as he talks about his husbands. Because the pronouns here really just go all over, don't they? We'll manure you, Mr. Flower. Bye-bye, Poldy. Bye-bye, Papley. Bloom. My willpower, memory, I have sinned, I have suff. Bellow. Crybaby, crocodile tears. Bloom. Broken, closely veiled for the sacrifice, sobs, his face to the earth. The passing bell is heard. Dark-shawled figures of the circumcised in sackcloth and ashes stand by the wailing wall. M. Schulemowitz, Joseph Goldwater, Moses Herzog, Harris Rosenberg, M. Moisel, J. Citrone, Minnie Watchman, P. Mostiansky, the Reverend Leopold Abramovitz, Chazen. With swaying arms, they wail in Pneuma over the recreant Bloom. The circumcised. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. That's an actual Hebrew prayer. I like how they describe the Jews as the circumcised.
And then
Voices.
his blues.
Voices. So he's gone. Ah, yes. Yes, indeed. Bloom? Never heard of him. No? The queer kind of chap. There's the widow. That's so? Ah, yes.
Alright, I gotta go because dinner's happening.
Okay. I think I'm not gonna keep going because I have to read any more of this. I will pass out.
Calling it here.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
We made it through the gender bending cock and ball fisting scene. What a scene it was. In terms of themes and like metaphors, the only thing I really got is that Bloom is pretty clearly like he feels emasculated because he failed to produce a male heir, and also his wife is like cheating on him, and everyone knows, including Bloom, who just has to like pretend that he doesn't. So him being turned into a woman is representative of his emasculation. I don't really know what the cock and ball torture is all about, or the fisting. I think that's just fan service. Yeah, that's all I fucking got. Anyone else have any alternate takes to present?
No.
I think we nailed it. I like the part where he becomes a cow, and then they auction him off as a dairy cow. Like, immediately after being fisted, mind you. Yeah, interesting, to say the least. It's a damn shame that Brandon missed it. I'll have to watch the VOD, I guess. Anything else to mention while we're here? I don't really have anything. Anyone got any announcements? Shout out to our sponsors. Shout out to Papa John's, whose stuffed crust pizza is now out of early access.
They had early access?
Yes, that's not a fucking joke. Last week, I went to order a pizza, and they'll send you coupons sometimes, right? If you have a rewards account, they'll be like, coupon for free breadsticks, or like buy one get one pizza. So I go on there, and I see that I have a new coupon. I'm like, oh, well, it's probably just some like discount side thing. Whatever, let's see what it is. And it's exclusive early access to their stuffed crust pizza, the new Papa John's stuffed crust pizza, at full price, mind you. Which of course I didn't do because that's dumb. And then I went to order a pizza yesterday, and I saw that they're like now available, the Papa John's stuffed crust pizza. I'm like, huh. It's at a closed beta. Why do you need to beta test your stuffed crust pizza?
So I do know that like what restaurants will do is like they'll designate certain areas to be test markets.
Yeah, I'm aware of that process. But it's not like I ordered it from a different place.
Yeah, it's not like you had to go to a specific test market to get one.
No, that just that. I don't know. Maybe
Where they were like not sure if it would work.
yeah. Well, that's
So,
what I was thinking.
like,
If like
If it messes up, don't get mad at us.
Yeah, I could see how like maybe they're still in the process of training the people how to make the stuffed crust pizza. So not every person that's working the kitchen can actually make it properly. I mean, I'm sure it's not that
So
hard.
you might
but-
have to wait longer, or it might
yeah,
not
so
be
they're.
available
I figured
as
it's to
quickly as
keep the
Rapid
load
Delivery.
down, right? Because everyone is going to be all over that Papa John's stuffed crust pizza. Yeah. Anyway, that's the only announcement that I have to make. But I think it was an important one. Oh, I forgot to say. I forgot to
just
say.
end the stream
I forgot to
and-
say what's up, Bookers. What's up, Bookers?